The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Welcome to Campus Conversations, a useful education, sustainability in admissions, retention, and student engagement. This broadcast is being held on the 9th Annual Campus Sustainability Day. My name is Sarah Brylinski, and I'm a Program Associate with Second Nature, the nonprofit dedicated to accelerating movement towards a sustainable future by serving and supporting college and university leaders in making healthy, just, and sustainable living the foundation of all learning and practice in higher education. Second Nature is the lead supporting organization for the American College and University President's Climate Commitment, for the ACUPCC. The ACUPCC is an initiative led by college and university presidents and chancellors to develop a comprehensive plan of actions within 2 years that will ultimately lead to campus climate neutrality and provide the critical education and research necessary to help society restabilize the world's climate through a commitment to education for sustainability. The 672 institutions who are currently signatories of the commitment are creating campuses and educational experiences that prepare tomorrow's leaders to create a sustainable society, and they represent a third of the college student population in the United States. But the question is, are tomorrow's leaders ready to seek out those educational opportunities? Do they find them valuable? Are campuses using their commitment to sustainability to attract students? This year's Campus Sustainability Day conversation focuses in on these questions by asking, in a time of increasing value on the focus and value and use of a college education, how are sustainability programs offering prospective students and their families, as well as enrolled students, the opportunity to engage in a useful, innovative, and valued educational experience? Our panelists today will discuss prospective student interest, incorporation of sustainability into the admissions process, and the engagement and educational value associated to sustainability programming. We invite you to listen to the following webcast as a way to start a conversation on your campus about the role of sustainability in creating a useful educational experience. Joining us today for the webcast are Elisa Johnson, Dean of Enrollment Management at Unity College in Unity, Maine, Kelly Bolton, the Sustainability Coordinator for Allegheny College in Meadville, Pennsylvania, and Frank Barros, Director of the Center for Sustainability at Berkshire School, a coeducational boarding school that prepares students for college. First, to get us started, 2 quick facts about prospective student interest in sustainability at colleges and universities. Students are really savvy shoppers these days, so they're realizing with a changing economy and green jobs looking to take a leap within the next couple of years that they want to be armed with those types of skills. The second fact comes from the Sustainable Endowment Institute. That interest hasn't gone unnoticed by college admissions officers across the country. The SEI reported in their College Sustainability Report Card Survey in 2009 that 27% of institutions were incorporating a sustainability message into their admissions and student orientation process, and that number jumped up to 69% in just 1 year when the results of the 2010 report card were made available. As SEI Director Mark Orlowski reports, schools are seeing it as a way of attracting the best students possible. With these figures in mind, I'd like to turn the conversation over to our panelists, and I'm going to start with Elisa Johnson, Dean of Enrollment Management at Unity College.
Hi, everyone. So at Unity College, we are an environmental college by mission, so sustainability truly is part of the fabric of what we do. It's not just a word, it's a way of life for us. From our Platinum LEED President's Residence to our recycling and composting programs, we truly are trying to make a difference. And one of our mottos is to think, work, and live sustainably. And we talk about that extensively with our students through the admissions process. We also try to demonstrate our commitment by actually living our mission through our admission strategies and recruiting tactics. A couple examples of those include reducing our print materials. We have changed our program brochures from a 3-panel or a tri-fold brochure down to a single double-sided brochure, saving thousands and thousands in printing and print materials. We've also cut our recruiting travel by 25% over the past 4 years, saving us in carbon emissions from that travel down to about 8 weeks now in the fall from about 12. We also track our mileage with a goal for each of our team members to reduce their own individual carbon footprint for the college. and we do use and report our mileage as part of our overall college CO2 emissions. We also, in our office, UT College is part of the Take Back the Tap program, so we do not offer anybody bottled water. Instead, when they come to visit the college, they're offered a mug or recyclable cup, and also offered organic coffee and tea. Next slide. One thing, or one way we use sustainability in admissions specifically with prospective students and families is to discuss their three main concerns, which are cost, how much student debt am I going to have at the end of these 4 years? What's the value of this degree going to be? And most importantly, what jobs are available, and am I going to have the skills to be employed? And part of my job is really to kind of keep on top of that by researching the data, trending, and using that information to communicate with prospective students. So some of the things that we use, for example, is information from the most recent Brookings Institute report that states that the clean economy actually employs more workers than the fossil fuel industry, reported in 2011, and that also the clean economy outperformed the nation during the recession. So once a family actually hears that, I think it really kind of opens their eyes to the possibilities and with a student receiving a degree in a sustainability field. Also, we survey our alumni, and for those students that graduated in May 2011, only 11% of our seniors at the time of graduation reported that they were still looking for employment. So that meant that all of those other students already had a job upon graduation or were moving on to graduate school. Next slide. So some of the ways that we work with prospective students through the recruiting process and then to retain them is that in recruiting a student, you have to know where they're coming from. Most of the time, we are working with students that come from public high schools, and their curriculum revolves around biology, chemistry, physics, if they took 3 years of science. So most of them don't have an opportunity to really think about, understand, or interact with the idea of sustainability in high school. So one of the things we try to do is really try to find their passion, or try to use some of the talk that they use, like conservation, environmental issues, recycling, etc. Try to find their passion and link it to sustainability at Unity College. Also for students, to retain them, most importantly I think is just offering opportunities in and out of the classroom to expand that knowledge of sustainability and understanding once they arrive at the college, and then provide the opportunities to apply that. And one of the examples we have is the building of Terra House, our most recent student residence that was built to Passive House standards. Not only are students living in the home now, which if we were to use it would only take a half a quart of wood to heat it through our Maine winters, but students were actually involved in the entire design process from the ground up. It was actually a course offered last year where they worked with architects. So they truly got a real-world experience to apply that knowledge. Next slide. So lastly, what is that prospective student interest in sustainability? I really think, what we know now about Generation Y, and whether we can believe it or not, Generation Z that's coming upon us, is that these students are typically known to be high achievers, and they really do want to make a difference. Some of the reports that I have from a book called The Renaissance Generation really gets at the fact that the number of times these students have heard global warming from maybe 2 times in an area in media in 1990 up to about 75 times in 2005. So now with that being 2011, it's again extrapolated. So these students are being bombarded with issues about global warming, environment, and sustainability on a daily basis. So what I can show you as far as Unity College's experience with student interest is that we started 2 new programs in 2008, one in sustainable energy management, one in sustainable agriculture, and we have seen enrollment triple or more in both of those programs. Also, our 2 most popular majors, conservation law enforcement and captive wildlife care and education, both of those programs combined enrolled 241 students. And that's really where, again, we get to that student passion and how they apply sustainability, and thinking about these are the students that want to conserve our natural lands, conserve wildlife, help with biodiversity issues. Next slide, please. And with that, I'd like to introduce Kelly Bolton, Sustainability Coordinator at Allegheny College.
Thanks, Elisa. So as the Sustainability Coordinator, I'm really lucky to work with many partners to advance sustainability in lots of different ways on Allegheny's campus. But most relevant for today is how sustainability fits into the admissions message. From Sarah and Elisa, we've learned that sustainability is a priority for students, and that certainly helps me get the attention of admissions. But more significantly, I'm finding that our admissions office wants to know about and highlight Allegheny's sustainability stories because they're points of pride and unfailingly offer up some really cool stories that demonstrate the high level of applied learning and student engagement that is an emphasis at Allegheny. So what you're looking at here is a screenshot of a new portion of our admissions website. It's a page that's devoted to sustainability, and while it's brief, the bottom half, which you can't see on this presentation, gives some good highlights and then links to our detailed sustainability web pages. Admissions is also incorporating sustainability info into every prospective student tour, and more of the messages they send to prospective students also have a sustainability message within them. Next slide. So what's the message we want to get across in our green tour and through the admissions office? First, sustainability is a core value at Allegheny College. We want to make sure that people know that this is on an equal standing with all the other core values of the school. So we were a founding signatory of the President's Climate Commitment, and our Climate Action Plan lays out our goal of achieving climate neutrality by the year 2020. That's an ambitious goal, so we really want to attract a lot of students who are excited, supportive, and want to help us push towards the goal. Currently, we have a lot of support from both the President and VPs, as well as the student body, and support from these two very different sectors on campus are really essential. Sarah mentioned that high school students and their parents' main concern is paying for college. So we make a lot of efforts to ensure that we're incorporating sustainability into a larger financial responsibility conversation. Here's a couple examples. So we have a really large composting operation on campus that we've been able to fund mostly from grants. But in addition, it saves us over $50,000 a year since we no longer have to pay waste hauling fees or purchase chemical fertilizers and topsoil. And this fact always wows students because it's cool to them that they can compost all of their food, but then to hear that it's actually really financially responsible for the college is a big hit too. We're also achieving financial savings from a multitude of retrofits, including lighting retrofits, more efficient boilers, and a lot of insulation across campus. We have several LEED certified buildings, and other renovations emphasize efficiency as well. And this means that we spend less on our utility bills to operate in these spaces. And for students, that's really important for them to know that we're using their tuition money as responsibly as possible. Next slide. In addition to being a core value, sustainability creates many attractive features on our campus. So you can see here a lot of the different ones. And since the visual first impression is essential for admissions, our native wildflowers, our green roof, and our really swank LEED certified residence halls are really valuable to prospective students and their families. And also our current students obviously love this stuff too. Next slide. Sustainability efforts also offer some really excellent opportunities for applied learning, which is an emphasis at Allegheny. You can see a few examples here. In the top left, we've got students collecting soil cores to analyze the carbon sequestration capabilities of switchgrass. And this was a collaboration with a local company that's growing and pelletizing this native perennial grass to be used as a heating source. The bottom photos capture an internship and a class project that planted 2 herb gardens for our dining hall use and apple trees for student consumption. And Carlin Johnson in the top right installed 2 solar panels on campus and developed educational content so they can be used as tools in classes. This was all part of her independent senior comprehensive project. So all of these are attractive stories for admissions because examples of practical but fun, hands-on learning are way more interesting to prospectives than merely the facts about student-faculty ratios and classroom amenities. Next slide. Similarly, prospective students get really excited about the fun student engagement opportunities we've built around sustainability outside of the classroom. Whether you care about climate change or know much about environmentalism in general when you get to campus, chances are good you can still get excited about bike-powered smoothies or student-run campus gardens. We also have an annual energy challenge. Last year, we reduced electricity consumption by about 10% in October through behavioral changes alone, and we used those savings to install solar panels on campus so that we would have very visible renewable energy examples. Students promoted the energy challenge with fun events like a bonfire and concert, night games like glow-bocce, and hide-and-go-seek in the dark. The picture on the top left of this slide is from our annual Trash and Show, which is part of a series of waste minimization efforts that is really popular with students as well. So while we pursue sustainability because it's a core value and the responsible way to operate, it's also attractive to prospective and current students. It creates attractive campus features and really unique and fun opportunities for applied learning and student engagement. And now I'd like to turn over the presentation to Frank Barros, Director of the Center for Sustainability at Berkshire School. It's a co-educational boarding school that prepares students for college.
Thanks, Kelly. So, of course, being a sustainability director of a high school, we're looking for this, as far as this issue is concerned, we're looking at what we're sending to the colleges as opposed to who we're attracting. So the Berkshire School, yes, traditional New England boarding school. We work closely with a cohort of 8 or 9 other boarding schools in New England. And as far as this survey that you see in front of you, this was 2 questions that was part of a greater survey that all 9 of our schools sent to our faculty. We did try to send some surveys to students initially, but we just didn't get enough feedback, so enough participation. So, but I'm looking on here. Now, a little bit of context, actually. All of our schools have been forwarding sustainability for quite a number of years now. We all have climate action plans. We've been tracking our greenhouse gas inventories, and we have a sustainability plan. So we wanted to see where the perception of the faculty was as far as our forwarding our sustainability and our culture of the schools. So in this first question, it asks the faculty to rate their level of concern about sustainability issues, both in 2009 and 2010. Now, it's important to note that we actually didn't even define sustainability at this point, which certainly would influence, I think, their decisions here. Mostly when they see this word sustainability at this point in 2009 and 2010, they were thinking of environmental sustainability. And you could see their particular concern, around between 3 and 5. It's a healthy level of concern. But we also asked in the second question, how would they rate their students' level of concern? But again, they were probably rating on terms of environmental sustainability. And anecdotally, in talking to students and faculty, we get the same kind of feel as far as their particular interest or their concern. It's around the 3. It's around mid-concern. They're concerned about it. Maybe they don't know exactly why they should be concerned about it, where it's coming from. We weren't sure at the time because we weren't, at this point, directly looking very seriously at the courses that we were teaching. Yes, we have electives in sustainability, electives in environmental science, but we weren't necessarily looking at the mainstream curriculum and where that was being put in there. So it looked like we have some, I guess the take-home is that we have some concern among the students, but it wasn't a strong concern, at least in the way that they understood sustainability when we gave these particular surveys. So next slide. So here, what we did this past year at Berkshire School is we looked at these 9 standards you see on the left of the slide. These were created by the Cloud Institute, and they're standards which, if you have these standards particular in your mainstream curriculum, it gives us the building, or the students, the building blocks to really kind of understand the underpinnings of sustainability. So what we did, now we had to define sustainability in order to do this curriculum review, and so the department heads got together and we adopted a definition, one of the more common definitions of looking at sustainability in terms of environmental impacts, the social equity, and the economic strands of sustainability. So we had to define it first so that we knew what we were looking for, and then we looked and looked at these particular 9 strands, these 9 standards, and tried to find out where they were in our curriculum. And you can see across the top there's the 3rd, 4th, and 5th form, freshmen, sophomores, juniors. And on the right, we have these colors that show how intense or how well we're covering these particular standards in the different subjects. So science is green, history is red, English is purple, and so on. And in science, we're talking about biology, chemistry, physics, third, fourth, fifth form. History, we're talking about ancient, and then European, then American history, English, third, fourth, and fifth form. So we wanted to look, and we took a good look, and as you can see, it's covered. It was covered unintentionally, I guess you could say, because we had not done anything intentionally to change anything. We were just trying to see where are we covering these sustainability topics, such as systems thinking, where are we covering cultural preservation, where are we covering these issues in our mainstream curriculum. And so I think because it is a mainstream curriculum, you would probably find a lot of parallels. We did find a little parallels between other independent schools, and I think the public school system would see the same. The big take-home here, though, is where do we go from there? How do you intentionally make the students aware? I think there'd be a big a jump there if we go from this unintentional understanding to a more intentional, and finding a way that the students are actually learning it and letting them make these connections between all these issues and know that they all relate to sustainability. That'd probably be, and at Berkshire, one way we're thinking of doing that is making it a graduation requirement and giving them a literacy assessment that they have to take and be able to pass before they graduate Berkshire. That way, they can at least see that all of this is interconnected, and they're all very, very important for understanding sustainability. So when it comes to that second question about are the students, do they have a lot of that in their curriculum, in the high school curriculum, I think the answer is yes, but it has to be made more intentional for them to really see that it is there and to get away from just the thought that it's only environmental in nature. There's also other elements to that. So there you go.
Thanks, Frank. And I'd like to answer just one final question on this topic. Are students involved in sustainability really engaged with their education on campus? I think that students are often drivers of new sustainability projects on campus, but when students encounter sustainability as part of the institution's value right from the very beginning, when they take a tour of campus, when it's included in first-year orientation, I think what we see is a student who feels really valued by and aligned with the institution itself, not just the programs that they've created. So this results in graduates who, through both their campus programs and the sustainable curriculum offerings, can make an association between the hands-on experiences that they've had and the rigor of their education, and the commitment their institution has made to doing the right thing, both by being sustainable and by preparing them to lead a more sustainable society. Higher education has an incredible opportunity and responsibility of ensuring that graduates understand and embrace these constraints and are well equipped to lead society to a better future within them. It's a massive undertaking, but it's also an incredibly exciting undertaking. As students and prospective students look forward to prepare for the kind of future that they want to live in, work in, contribute to, institutions that provide leadership by example and the foundation of a sustainability education will definitely be those that take the lead. Signatories of the American College and University President's Climate Commitment are really enabled to foster this change by participating in a network of shared resources and being able to learn from one another as the institutions themselves grow and as the movement grows. So with these facts in mind, it's time to start your own campus conversation. Use the resources listed on the Campus Conversations website at secondnature.org/CFD to start a conversation on your campus about the value of sustainability programs to students and for students. For more information about the President's Climate Commitment, please visit presidentsclimatecommitment.org. We invite you to join us in these Campus Sustainability Day resources and to become a part of a growing network of colleges and universities who are leading change in higher education for their communities and in educating the people who will develop the social, economic, and technological solutions to reverse global warming and help create a thriving civil and sustainable society. Many thanks again to all of our participants, and have a happy Campus Sustainability Day.